This is Pastor James, and I don't know about you, but I've been losing sleep these last few days. And one of the reasons why is because every time that the Olympics come on, ever since I was a little boy, I find myself engaged. Engaged because it's a chance to see the celebration of really the human endeavor of achievement and competition. For me, it's almost as if we see our own stories in the Olympics. You're not just watching people compete, but you feel yourself, whether as an American, but I think even bigger than that. You see the world on stage. You see the best competitors from all over the world, but then you begin to see yourself. Ever since I was a little boy, what was always amazing to me is to see black athletes. Black athletes have a platform to where the ideals of what we talk about of having a level playing field, yes, the playing field is level. You know, I remember even historically back in the 1930s hearing about Jesse Owens become this athlete in the 1930s. And when I began to understand what he accomplished, 4 gold medals, but it was the 1930s representing a country that didn't necessarily represent him because of the Jim Crow reality that he lived in. It's mysterious how black athletes could represent, again, a country to where they really didn't have all the freedoms and rights that others had. And yet Owens somehow stood defiantly in front of Hitler, and he raised again that American reality as he stood on the stand. It was a victory for all of us. Isn't that uniqueness interesting? Because that's what happened with many black soldiers who would fight in wars, and yet they would come back to the lands of places that still didn't acknowledge who they were and their heroism. Well, you would think that things have changed, but the stage for the black athletic achievement is still there, even as we watch these Olympics. But as we watch these Olympics, there are 2 young ladies who their names are familiar, because their first names are the same. Simone Biles, the incredible gymnast, and Simone Manuel, the swimmer that has really defied the odds. The swimmer that has really said that, you know what Al Campana said back in the 1990s, the manager of the Dodgers, when he said somehow that black people were not buoyant, well, Simone Manuel has proven him wrong. You see, it's interesting. Not only do black girls rock, but boy, do black girls swim. And boy, do they swim with a level of power and a level of intelligence and a level of what's really, that some would call, is magical. There's even a hashtag that says Black Girls Magic. Simone Biles, Simone Manuel, they really have done something, but I'm not sure I would call it magical. For me, not just because I'm a pastor, but I would call what they are doing is something that demonstrates what makes us unique as humans. That as humans, we're created in the Imago Dei, in the image of God. The very first book of the Bible lets us know that. And being created in the image of God doesn't mean that you are God, but it does mean that you're created in the shadow of God. You can see that when you watch Simone Biles' creativity, again, whether it's on the floor exercise, whether it's doing a vault and the way she twists and turns her body. You see, because God in Genesis says that God created the heavens and the earth. Boy, is Simone Biles creative. You see that in Simone Manuel. Not only do you see, again, creativity, but you even see with her a level of intellectual genius, because she will be graduating from Stanford. And even when she articulates why she's in the pool and the history that she has, very much just as God spoke, and just as God, John says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, God, the Logos, well, the logic, the Logos, Simone Manuel demonstrates an incredible logic and understanding of who she is and how important a story is that really demonstrates she's created in the image of God. When we think about, again, Simone Biles and Simone Manuel, we realize that we're watching a moment that will never happen again, because these 2 individuals are uniquely made in God's image, which is something that needs to be said and understood for all black women and black men. That there's a history that somehow would say we're less or other, or maybe that even this demonstrates something else that is magical, unique. No, it just demonstrates that when God created us, He created us for a reason and purpose to excel even above our circumstances. So I pray that black men, black women, well, no, let me say all people are watching the uniqueness of the conversation and the power of the moment, because what it demonstrates for all of us is there's not just magic, but there's meaning. And that the creator of the universe created men and women to bring meaning in ways that would cause all of us to stand and cheer.